Hi, I'm Tim Roble, and welcome to another episode of Adventure Athlete. Today I'm working on my Can-Am X3 XRC. That's kind of hard to get all of those lined up. But what I did yesterday is I got a new shift gate from EMP, and I thought I would come out and install that. I got in a little later than I thought I was going to, but here's the new shift gate with a new shift pattern, and allows you to go from high to reverse in the same track, and then from low to reverse in the same track. And I thought that was going to be important for out at the hammers when you're trying to run a line, and you got to back up and go back and forth. So in my opinion, I thought that was the best shift gate on the market, so that's why I got the one I did. In the meantime, I had to pull the seats and the side panels to get everything apart, and somehow I thought that meant that I should just take the whole car apart and cut the cage off and get going there. That's just who I am. Being honest, I'm excited about this car, and I'm really excited to try some of my theories and concepts on it. So that's what happened. So basically, I removed the front clip off the car, and I took some of the dash out, which isn't totally required. You can probably finagle enough around this factory cage to cut it off. I did use, to cut this off, I used a Sawzall, and I used a 5.5 inch cutoff disc. I guess that's a 6-inch disc, but it was probably 5.5 when I got going. I got this rear end exactly how I want it. The tire sits low, it's supported well. So I probably won't be making any changes or much changes there. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the bars that I've already put in. They're 1 3/4 by 0.95, and the rest of this cage is going to be 1 3/4 by 0.95 with some 0.65 trussing. Main reason I'm doing this cage is for visibility and to add a little bit more safety to the car. As you can see, this factory Can-Am intrusion bar sits way high if you kind of look at all of that, and even the dash is kind of limiting your view out of the car. So I'm not done totally pulling the car apart yet. I'm going to remove the dash. I think I am going to use this at least up to here for the center console, we'll call that. I kind of would like to expose the brake master cylinders, but I don't want to expose the electronics, and those are kind of packaged in the same proximity. So don't know yet. Before I pull all that apart, I'll figure that out. But I got the cage cut off, and we'll kind of just take a little look around the car, and you can kind of figure most of your factory cages that you see from anybody that offers a bolt-on cage for this X3, they all do a lower hoop similar to Can-Am's. And, I'm not crazy about the slip-fitted stuff. I'm sure it would hold up in a rollover, not as well as a weld-in. I've said it again, time and time again, that for myself, I really feel that a lot of this bolt-on stuff is just good. It's a good way for a manufacturer to offer a decent product to the masses, that they can come and cut this off and bolt a cage on their car. For me, that's just not good enough. My whole reason for doing a cage is to add a little bit more safety, but add a lot more visibility, and you can't add the visibility with the bolt-on product. So I am going to come in here and tie in to some of the factory tubing and weld that up. I'm hoping I don't have to remove the tank, but we'll see. I got welding blankets and stuff to make that all safe to weld on. But I'm thinking that I'm going to come off of this shock tower right here and create a node that will come up for the V-pillars. So that'll come up and then angle in and intersect right here. And then there will be another, of course the A-pillar won't be, the A-pillar tie-in will not be so far up as the factory. I don't know why they did that, because it puts the mirror in a weird spot too that's difficult to look at. Another thing that I'm going to focus on is where to put the mirrors on this car, because where they are, is good, but not great. So I'm going to work on integrating that into the cage, and of course the rear view mirror I want to run. I may do one of those convex ones that you can kind of see a better peripheral, because as you can see, I've done a great job of keeping everything down low as possible in this car, and you don't even know you have a spare tire back there. Once again, weight carried low, centralized, and as low as possible without affecting anything. And then to do that, the exhaust was a huge change in how you could do that. The stock exhaust really took up a lot of area. That basically that's where the jack is now, and it just didn't allow you to get everything as low and packaged as nice as this is. So cage is ready to lift off. I'll do that shortly after I do the video. I'll just do a standard B-pillar tie-in with a straight bar. The top will have a single bar coming here, and then will be X'd from B-pillar to A-pillar, and then B-pillar to A-pillar. And then I will do the same center type bar here, and then I'll run triangulated out here to the B-pillar BC tie-in. So that'll add a lot of rigidity to the car, and if you happen to get upside down, it would take care of that. But once again, visibility is going to be the #1 thing I'm looking at. Of course, safety is always there, but you know, 1 3/4 by 0.95 is a pretty beefy material for this this light of a car. Probably sitting around 1,500 poundish as we sit. 35s are mounted up, and I have not got to test those yet, but man, I just love to come out here and look at the car with the 35s on it. I do have plans for some aftermarket axles and prop shafts, looking at RCV, but been talking with a few different people about some other options, so we'll see what comes into play. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to build this double shear tie-in. I'd like to take something from this area and run it down to the chassis. S3 makes a nice bolt-on that actually looks like it works pretty well. We'll see where I go with that. As you guys know, I'm kind of anti bolt-on on a lot of this stuff, just because it adds a little bit of weight. You know, you figure if this fitment right here was welded into the tubing, you didn't have to have this giant glob of metal here basically bolting it on. So you know, it's going to be a lighter cage, I think, overall from what we have here, and twice as safe, and probably going to add somewhere about a foot in the visibility department. You can see if we get rid of this dash, you have a clear view down here, and I think that's going to work for a tie-in. And in the end, I think it's just going to be a very nice, sleek cage. Something that I'd love to do a product line for this car, but it's something that I just can't offer a bolt-on. I can't do it with who I am. I got to weld it on, and I weld it on because there's just no compromises. When you bolt it on, you still need the trussing and everything to go in that needs to be welded to the chassis. So that's what I'm going to do. You know, if somebody wants a custom, that's what I do, is custom one-off vehicles, concept cars, restorations. So for me, it's like if somebody wants something like this when it's done and you like it, the best way to show it is when it's all said and done. And this is our starting point, and we'll move from there. But yeah, if somebody wanted something, you're probably looking in the $3,500 to $5,000 range. So it's not going to be a cheap cage, just because of the labor that goes into doing the job. But I think in the end, it'll be something that's very unique and that you only see on maybe race cars. I've only talked to one builder that's really had visibility in mind when he's built the cage, and that's something that's I think most don't think about, and that's something that I want to think about. Because visibility, anybody has an X3, you know that visibility sucks out of these, and that, you know, just this shot right here kind of shows you how much lower that cage can be and unobstructive. So anyway, if you want to follow this King of the Hammers X3 build, please hit like and subscribe. I got more stuff like this coming on. I'll take you through the journey like I did on the adventure truck. So I'd say we're kind of to a phase 3 right now. And in the end, I would love to say I would like to take this car all apart and then build it up from there, but then I wouldn't have known what exactly the weak points were. So it was kind of a neat way to do it, spending 6 days out in the Hammer, getting the car broken in, learning how it crawls and what it's capable of, and then making changes from there. So this might be just a little journey down the road. Gonna see if car's gonna live with the 35s on it. I'm going to make it live with the 35s on it. I'm going to find the solutions. I'm not the only person to ever run 35s on these. And I talked to several people that the car was living, but they're doing stuff more like Baja. King of the Hammers, I cannot think of one car out there that was on 35s. So we're going to see if the car is going to live at the Hammers with the 35s, and then how I drive it. First thing I do when I hit the rock sections is I switch the car to rock. I leave the smart lock on, and then I put the car in eco. So the 177 horsepower that this car is making now is too much in the rocks. There's not enough control of the throttle pedal, and things happen too quick. That turbo spools, and the front end is just zipping around. Put that car in eco, and man, it just gave you really a nice feel, and you could just kind of crawl and work your way through things. So I know that's going to help axles live and prop shafts live on this car, as well as my right foot. And then we'll see how the car lives out in the desert. Anyway, thank you guys for now. I know I'm always long-winded, but I always want to get my point across. Thank you guys for watching. If you like it, hit like and subscribe, please. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up down below, and that's going to be it for now. I'm Tim Roble. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you here next time.